Cool. So, hello and welcome to OneTalk Radio Podcast. This is John Gora with you, your host as usual. And on the other side of the camera, I have a great gentleman from all the way from the US. This is a guy that has stories, a guy that has something that is passionate, that's going to change your life, something that's going to motivate you to start your day, to warm your afternoon or evening. Or if you're just driving somewhere and you want to listen to something great, this is the time that you need to tune in and don't touch the button, don't touch the dial. I have Rob Howze in the house, and I don't want to talk about him so much. I want to let him tell us about himself. Rob Howze, you're welcome in the house, man.
John Gore, man, thank you for having me in the house, man. I love being in the house. I like being in the house with like-minded individuals. Because the more like-minded individuals you got in the house, the stronger the house is. And we must protect this house.
We've got to protect this house, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly the truth. That's exactly what we need to talk about this afternoon from other sides, morning from other sides, and definitely night in other parts of the world. Rob Howze is an empowerment artist using his talent to spread love, spread happiness, as well as, just spread the peace around the world. And he's been doing this all of his life. But before we get into that, Rob Howze, there's something that is so unique, something that is so, motivational about you that I would like you to talk about. And that is Rob with his friend Rob getting robbed at a gunpoint. How funny is that? And
That was a great way to say it, man. And if no one's ever said that to me, like I always say, I'm Rob, my man's Rob, and we got Rob. I never heard it said with an intro. Dude, that felt a lot different too. Like, wow. You know what we were? We were the Matrix before the Matrix. Those who know the Matrix movie, the most infamous popular scene is when they're ducking. Neo's ducking the bullets. He's dodging the bullets, and that's what it was like when the gunman stepped outside the car and started shooting at point blank range. Just pop, pop, pop. We ducked two. One got us, but it didn't get us. It just kind of went through my arm and through my shirt and into his leg. It's unbelievable. But let me tell you what it did. So let me tell you, this was like the beginning of, Spider-Man. This was a radioactive spider. Came out of the spider came down, then it became radioactive. It bit Peter Parker. That's how he became Spider-Man. Certain things happened to people. Batman, he had the traumatic experience with his parents, and then took his mind to the next level. Everyone had their thing that took them to where they were going. I believe this event, this life or death event, obviously I ended up on the side of life. This was the beginning to super awareness, because, when I came out of the store, I was expecting just to get in the car with my friend. And when I got to the car, there was a guy with a gun. Immediate paradigm shift. Okay, boom, my mind's blown. Never been in a situation before. I've seen it, but never experienced it. Guns loaded to my head. The dude said he's going to shoot us. Says, get in the car. Next thing I know, there's a tussle. My boy, Rob, again, his name's Rob. My name's Rob. We got Rob. I haven't got Rob on my arm. I mean, what the heck is wrong with me, man? There's something wrong with me, man. And so my boy, Rob, feeling really strong at the time, clearly feeling like a superhero. He reached for the gun. Okay? Remember, the gunman has the gun. And he jumps outside the car with his handle on it, and then he opens fire. 3 shots. Rob and I both jump back, like the Matrix. Pop, pop, pop. And the bullets miss except for one, and it comes through the outside of my arm, then it comes through the inside of my arm, goes through my shirt, and goes into his leg. It's still in his leg today. You can ask any airport that he goes to, because the bullet went so deep into his leg. The surgery would have just jacked the stuff up more. So they just left it in there. No big deal. He's good now. He's actually just as fast. Matter of fact, he was the fastest in our neighborhood. And then when he got shot, he still was the fastest until I decided to decrown him. So that's something different, though. But so, that experience, John. So when that happened, first of all, everything shifted. I became aware of everything. Let me close this part. The most miraculous part of this entire shooting episode, the most miraculous component to the whole story, is later when I got home after the hospital and I was all stitched up. I took my shirt off. My bloody shirt was a Barry Sanders jersey, and I was looking at my shirt. It was bloody and it had holes across the front of it. And I was wondering, why do I have holes in the front of my shirt? And then I replayed the incident and I looked at my arm and I realized it was the bullet that traveled through the outside of my arm. It came through the inside of my arm and then went through my shirt. So when I went back, the bullet went through my shirt, just missing my chest cavity by whatever that mathematical equation is. And then it goes into Rob's leg. And I was holding the shirt up thinking like, I think I was holding the shirt for like 3 hours. I think I was standing there just holding it. I was like, wow. So my awareness had already gone to the next level, but now God inserted himself. Like this is God, because everything else was all adrenaline. This moment was all God. And this is when I had my real come to God moment. Because he's like, yeah. I was like, wow. Like that could have been it. And my cousin, man, got killed a couple years later, 1 block away, shot in the head. 1 block, 2 blocks, very close proximity. A couple years later, I'm holding a shirt. God showed me like, wow. So from that moment, man, I really saw life a lot differently. You know, it was my emotion, my empathy rose because my awareness rose. So my awareness to me is like, you think about awareness like a flashlight. Whatever you put your flashlight on, you can see. Think about everything being dark, but there's lots of things in the dark. The flashlight is your awareness. I can see that. So the brighter your awareness, the more you could see, the clearer you could see. You know, so if you look at something with the intention and you have awareness, you can see more. You'll know where things are as well. So that rose. And from there, you know, I just began to, appreciate every moment. You know, my appreciation, again, awareness, my appreciation rose. I just became more aware of the things that were relevant and important. I also became kind of psychotic too, because we would go to parties and I would know where everybody was. I would know who had a gun. I would know who had the weed. I would know what girls were looking at me. I would see everything. It was really sensory overload. Now that I think about it, and I probably should have went and saw somebody, you know, or should have got some help, but I didn't know. I was just, just doing what I had to do, which was live. So that was a long one, man. But yeah, that was the shooter story. The Matrix before the Matrix.
It's a story that I really wanted to listen to it from. We call it raw because I've been listening to it recorded. And the first time, in fact, the first time we connected on LinkedIn, that was the first story I heard about you. And I don't remember it was on which podcast, but there's a podcast I listened to, and there was that story, and I was like, how could that be possible? Because but then I said, no way, there is God, and every time that we are walking, God has a book, and He's written in this book. That's how I'm taught, and I believe that each and every book is written. That Rob is gonna go down this day and this time of the world, So it wasn't your day. It wasn't God said, no, you've got to testify. You've got to inspire some people and motivate some lives to continue, knowing that there can be a second chance, third, fourth, and fifth chance in life.
Absolutely.
That's a motivational story, Rob. And I appreciate that you've got the strength to speak about it, to share it with the people. And this is what we are looking for, because there are a lot of people outside there who look at their problems and see their problem as a big deal. They've never understood that there are some bigger problems outside there. There are some circumstances that you can be in, but when you believe in God and you believe in yourself, the inner soul, the inner part of you, you can still come out and do some greatness across the world.
Absolutely.
So the second thing that I wanted to talk about, Rob, I went through your Facebook. I've been doing research about you, just seeing what you're doing. Not all that I know, because since the time we connected, what you've been doing, I really know. But now I wanted to see and know Rob before I connected with Rob. And there's something that I saw along the way just last, I think it's in this month, 12th of November. There's a post you did about that you titled "Happiness Has Power Over Your Immune System." If you can remember that post. And this is the reality of this talk, and it is what I really wanted us to talk about. Happiness has power over your immune system. You know, if we can get it from your own words, we will understand the meaning of this word. It's a powerful word. Somebody might not understand how powerful this thing is or this statement is, but if he will hear it from you, they will, generate the sense of acknowledging how powerful it is to say this, Rob.
Oh my goodness, man! I thank you for asking that question, and I'm so happy that we are actually talking about it, like people, because 100 years ago this wasn't even a conversation. Like happiness could do something for you. Happiness can increase your well-being, can extend your life expectancy. 30 years ago, like you couldn't talk about this. People would just think you're crazy. But after a while, like you can't unlearn something. You can't unsee something. And so there's certain facts and stats that have come out. Happiness actually increases your well-being. Well, what do you mean? Well, first, when you're happy, there's certain chemicals that are released in your body, right? You got serotonin, you got dopamine, you got certain chemicals that are released, and it actually supports cellular growth, like your happiness. It helps your immune system physically. So that's the physical side. On the mental side, happiness actually creates clarity. Think about this. When you're really upset, how often do you make bad choices? When you're really mad, really emotional, how accurate are those choices? Not very. But when you're happy, when you're clear-minded, you can make a much better choice. So right there, happiness increase your skin, your body, your immune system, and it also increase your mindset. And so it actually extends your life expectancy because it's providing the type of nourishment your mind, body, and spirit needs. So don't worry. Be happy.
Wow. That's the rope, and that's what I wanted, man. That's exactly, that's where we are heading to. The tune you're starting to bring out, and when you tell somebody not to worry, just be happy. It's as simple as it is said, but it's very hard as to clear or break a rock to do that. And this has been because if you look around Rob Howze, you'll agree with me that there's a lot of people who are depressed.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, there are a lot of suicide across the world. And a friend of mine was sharing with me that all of these are happening because some of us are working in the jobs we don't like. Some of us are in we call them covenants, marriage that they don't like.
Yep.
They're in a family they don't like. They wish they were born in another family. Some people are in schools that they don't like. So how do you advise such kind of people to know how to take happiness as an immunity to your system and to realize that, in each and every situation that you can be in, there is still a way through to get out of it and be happy?
So that's a great question, man. And so, it's easy to say, be happy, right? It's easy to say, we know it works. You just heard the stats and the facts about happiness and the immune system and how it increases. But someone's saying, look, my life sucks right now. I hate this job. My marriage is terrible. My kids don't listen. I don't have the opportunities that everyone else had. Like, there's a lot of different real things people are going through, right? And so I would tell you, and I would tell anybody, what worked for me when I was at my rock bottom. I had this thing, this rock. It's my gratitude rock. My daughter has one too. And this rock reminds me to be grateful. And it doesn't matter what you have in your life or what you don't have. You have something to be grateful for. And that's where it starts. Like, you build happiness off the foundation of gratitude. You can't be happy if you're not grateful. And it could be just the fact that you are alive. Start with the very bare minimum basic things like air. We think it's basic, but without it, you're dead. We have this thing called the law of familiarity. You know, whatever is familiar to us, it kind of like becomes irrelevant to us. Now, the most essential things in life we should be grateful for. So start your day with gratitude. In the morning, before you wake up, you have 70,000 thoughts a day. Before those thoughts begin, within you, which will give you more momentum to deal with the stuff, the crap, the things that you will have to endure for that day. And it's all about the choices. You're going to have to make choices after choices after choice after choice after choice. But the more grateful you are, the better decisions you'll make and the better outcomes you'll get, which will just increase more gratitude. So it's a circulation. We call it the circulation of gratitude, man. You and I just made that up, okay? The circulation of gratitude. And that's how it works. You know, you're grateful. Somebody say, I want this, I want that, I want this, I don't have this. There's a whole lot of I want, there's a whole lot of I, a whole lot of me's. Let's stop. Just get grateful. And that will begin to open your mind up. And that's what it did for me. I was like, okay. Look, I'm like, I have this talent. How come I don't have something? I got these skills that everyone says are so cool. What do I have to show for it? And I got to get down on myself, man. This was recent, like super, super recent. And just because you're motivated and inspired and you're leading the way doesn't mean you don't still have things, that challenge you. But what I did was I found something to be grateful for no matter what. I started starting my day with gratitude. I started intentionally being grateful and thankful and walking and spending time by myself. That's another thing I was going to say, John. Key number 2, get by yourself. I was walking the other day, yesterday, and I asked myself, I said, what is the greatest lesson I've learned in life? I'm going to post this video today, matter of fact. I'm posting it today. And I was like, what's the greatest lesson I learned after 45 years of living on this earth? What's the greatest lesson that I've learned? What is the greatest thing I could say that I've learned on this earth? And it was talk less, listen more. I was like, wow, okay. But then I went to unpack. I was like, why is that the answer? I feel it, but why? Because when you talk less, you can listen more. And listening is the birth of understanding. Understanding is what's necessary for communication. The reason why I'm saying that is because when you get still, not only do you become a better communicator, but you become a better thinker within inside your own self. You begin to remove all the things that have been distracting you and hindering you, and you get that solitude. So now you can be grateful in a clear space. So gratitude and that clear space, those two things together, man, you're gonna be on a road in the right direction.
That's absolutely great, Rob. And I did the right choice to get you on, Rob, because I knew this was the man to spread this good news of happiness. Because you've got it from experience. You've had it. You're doing it practically, and my next question, or maybe a subtopic to discuss, is the way you can transfer happiness from yourself to others. It's always great to be happy, but it will only be greater to, spare your time to transfer the happiness you have to the next person, because you never know the person you're meeting next. Maybe somebody who's sitting next to you. You never know what they're thinking. Mm-hmm. So if at all we can give something that will create happiness, that will, bring them back to life. This is the real thing, the reality of life that I want to know from you, Rob. How would you transfer that kind of happiness to another person that is not you?
Giving. Jacqueline Way, who you had as a guest on here, she is amazing with this concept. Giving is the best way to transfer. You want to transfer happiness to somebody else, bring value to their lives. Bring value, whatever that may be. That could be the smallest thing as, giving them a compliment, buying them a coffee, sharing a resource. Just listening and being there. That's the best way. You want to transfer happiness, bring value. But it's going to be impossible for you to transfer happiness if you don't have any. So it's first you got to get yourself together, because inner peace, once you get to inner peace, then you can create the outer peace. And that's really how we create that collective world peace. There will always be some kind of violence and things, because you got to have the polar opposite, but that'll be real small. We'll have a whole lot of positivity, and it starts with that. So the inner peace, man, get that inner peace to create the outer peace. And then if you want to transfer that value, that happiness to somebody else, listen to them. They're going to tell you what they need. People will tell you exactly what they need if you're listening. Most of the time, no one's listening. Everyone's talking. Here's the thing I was talking to myself about today. I was honestly thinking about this. Like, when you think about communication, first thing you think about is what? How you talk, how you deliver, right? The first thing instinctively, it makes sense, right? But that's not. But most of communication is not that. In my opinion, it's like 70-30. Yeah, 30% you are talking, but 70% should be listening. I mean, if you are interested in having real communication, and real communication means you're able to assess and synthesize the information around you, you can only do that if you're actually listening. So that's my thing on listening. That's my thing on listening. But yeah, that's how you if you want to create happiness, listen to what people desire and deliver to them. Just be present and deliver the gift. The present, the gift, present gift.
I love how you're bringing it, in a very simple way, but it's very powerful. What you're saying is very powerful, but it comes in very simple way. It's not something that somebody has to go and dig somewhere or from a rocky garden somewhere. Yeah. It's just like plucking a flower or plucking a leaf from a tree. Yeah. So that's how smooth I expected to get it from you, Rob, because I know the kind of happiness you create. So in line with that, Rob, you dance, Rob, you sing, and you create happiness videos together with your family, friends. You include us as well. And, what motivates you? And how do you keep that face, smiling? And not only your face. Maribel smiles every time. The mother smiles every time. And when we see you, Rob, we smile. So how do you make this possible?
I was just asking myself this question, like, what is the thing? Because it's not like I'm trying to do something. I've been asking myself questions about myself lately. Like, why? Like, what is the origin of this? Like, why do you do what you do? What really drives you? And then I asked myself, like, why are you happy? It's like, why do you desire to be happy so much? Because I hate the opposite. I don't like discomfort. I don't like any of that. I don't like any of those other feelings. So naturally, I just gravitate towards goodness. I gravitate towards sunshine. I gravitate towards motivation, because the other stuff, I literally begin to die. And when I get around negative people, I start dying. Like, I start to wither. Like, it's like melting, man. It's real. I realize that about myself. Like, that's why I call them the U-turn people. When I see them, I just you turn around, you know, sure. And I don't judge people, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be negative, you want to say negative things, cool, but just not around me. I can't be a part of it. You know, I'll dismiss myself. So to answer your question, you know, I have a lot to be happy about too. That's the other thing. Like, with this gratitude rock and just straight up being grateful for what I have, like, you know, people died where I came from. I'm here. I almost died a couple times, actually. You know, I'm here. My daughter, she's here. She came through a little, we'll call it, give me the right words. We'll call it a medical challenge. And she flew through that too, you know. So I'm grateful for that. My wife, you know, she really loves me. Like, it's real. Even though I get on her nerves, it's real love. I'm grateful for that. All I have to do is keep doing that. That's how you get the smile on your face. You look for the things to smile about. And recognize that you have to intentionally do it. You're not programmed to do this. We're programmed to find negative. It's a basic survival mechanism built in us since the beginning of time. It's called the amygdala. It's the reptilian part of the brain. It's looking, what can go wrong? Protect. So it's trying to find. So if you are not intentional, you'll just be finding stuff wrong with everything. And wonder why your life's wrong. Now, you need that part, but you need to be aware that that's the part that's going to make the negative aware, but you got to deliberately find the positive. And then what you'll do is you'll start to quiet that amygdala down. That amygdala starts to, what we'll call the monkey mind, starts to calm down because you're finding things to be grateful for. Just make a list. Check it twice. And you'll find out who's naughty or nice.
Wow. man. This really calls for Rob's happiness part 2, and I think we've got to go into another time. We've got to just create another time so that we can have a long conversation, Rob. But to sum this conversation, Rob, I have the last part of this conversation, and that is the new album that you're doing. You've been doing a lot of things, a lot of music. I know about the Freestyle Friday, and I know about a lot of those short clips that you do. But there's a new album that you are creating, and I think it's gonna come out before Christmas or on Christmas, is it?
Yeah, it's coming out Christmas Day. And
wow.
I got that feeling, man. I got that feeling. You know, we'll call it intuition. We'll say God spoke. I don't know what happened. I just got this rush, like album Christmas Day. Happiness is mandatory. I was like, oh, no, that was too weird. It's September. No, it's not. And so I didn't really listen. And then my birthday passed, and it was really loud and clear. Mel Bell's birthday is the 18th, mine's the 19th. So we celebrated, and on that weekend, I heard it again. Album, Happiness is Mandatory. Okay, so we got a couple months to do an album here. Let's get busy. So a couple things are happening. Happiness is something that everybody has access to. Music is the one language that everybody speaks. I remember listening to a song. Somebody sent me something, and I don't even know what language it was. But it was like, that's all I heard. And I was saying it, man. And I was feeling it. I really hope it wasn't like some kind of curse or something. But I was singing this song, man. Like, and I was feeling it, man. Like, oh, man, feeling this thing. And I don't even know what they were saying. Music speaks all language, right? So
definitely,
this Happiness is Mandatory album, this is the thing, not only is it going to be able to be translated across all dimensions, minds, and concepts and ideologies, but everybody will be able to groove to it. And so what is the message? Happiness. I have songs in there that's going to work on different sides of the brain. Left side, the right side, the whole side. It's going to lift you up. It's going to inspire you. It's going to encourage you. It's going to edutain you. We call it edutainment, education, and entertainment, because education is super important, but entertainment is the way people become aware and become receptive. So if you mix the two, you can then entertain them while you educate them. So this is going to be that type of project. And so I'm doing something very special, though. I didn't want to just do an album, you know. Wouldn't it be cool if you got a new song from your, let's say, an artist that you liked every single month, you know, exclusively? I've actually never heard of that. That is so freaking good, man. Lila is like that. Lila is, I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I was so blown away by it because I wanted to do something that was special and unique, and that's what I'm all about. I don't want to be the same. You know, it's boring. You know, no one remembers the same. That's why it's the same. You know, so basically for $19.99 you get the album on Christmas and 12 songs for the whole year, and you're part of the Howze music group. And so I don't know, right? And that's why I'm only doing 100, because you know I get real excited, man. Then I'm like, wait a minute, what are you doing? You're doing too much. You're doing too much here. Okay, you're giving away too much stuff, but you know, I like creating that excitement, man. And this album, I know for a fact, is gonna be around. It's gonna be one of those publications, man. It's gonna be one of those experiences. This is gonna be because of the time that we're in. Like we're in the mindfulness era. Mm-hmm. We're in the mindfulness era. So This type of music, man, is like the minds are ready. And so people are going to remember. And then they can't unlearn what they learn. Once they understand like how to be mentally, physically, and spiritually rich, mm-hmm. they're not going to want to go back. So happiness is mandatory, man.
I totally agree with you, Rob Howze, that happiness is a mandatory thing that we need to do. We don't have excuse. You know, we don't have a choice. It's true. You've got a choice to choose to be happy and choose not to be happy. But the truth is that we've got no choice, but we have to be happy. That's a fact. That's a fact. If you're not happy, then you're missing something that is, you know, that will grow you from one side or one level to another. If you can't, goodness. Yeah, if you can't just climb a mountain if you're not happy.
Yeah.
You'll come down. You'll drop
quickly.
You'll drop down. Yeah. So just to sum up this conversation, Rob Howze, I would like just to give you this opportunity to talk to somebody outside there, somebody who's depressed, somebody who's thinking that he's knocked so many doors, he's traveled a lot of miles, and you know tried all the alternatives. Perhaps he thinks that he's tried all the alternatives and everything is not just working for them. What do you say to them, Rob Howze?
Well, you never have ever tried everything. So don't ever tell yourself that, because that's a good way to corner yourself into a place of nowhere. Because in your mind believes whatever you tell it. There's always an opportunity. And what you would have to do, if you're really interested in bettering yourself and coming out of the hole and becoming your best self and living what I would like to say your best life, you're going to have to start with loving yourself. And you got to find a way to do that. Like nothing works if you don't figure that part out. Don't go get clothes. Don't get a good, watch a movie. Don't go try and get a girlfriend or boyfriend or wife or husband. No exterior alternatives are going to work. You must first love yourself. So you look in the mirror and tell yourself that. You're like, what? Why? Do you tell your wife or your husband or your significant other? Yeah. You tell your kids? Yeah. You tell your aunt, uncle? Yeah. You tell yourself? Oh. So there's a lack of love, and within the self, it's going to be very difficult to go up that mountain, John, like you were saying. So I'll say love yourself. My wife was working on a song called "Love Yourself." Actually, it's like love yourself. It's love. I forget how it goes. Love yourself, even if no one else will. Love yourself, even if no one else will.
Well,
Yeah, that's it. Love yourself, even if no one else will.
well.
That's it, man. So you
Wow.
gotta find it. You gotta find it. Just do
That's it.
it.
That's it. There's nothing else. So that's a great one. That's a great one. The biggest word that you left us with tonight is love yourself. No one else will.
Yeah.
You've got to love yourself. So it was beautiful and it was great having you, Rob Howze. And just like I said, this was the most interesting episodes we've ever had here. An episode that is full of laughs. And that's what we can learn from how you create happiness across the world, Rob Howze. And I think and I hope that we're going to have the second part of this after the release of the album you are really
Yes.
waiting for on 25th. So after the release, I'm going to play that album here and I'm going to host you here and we'll try this Facebook thing if it's going to work out
Yeah.
for us because
20.
we really need to talk to millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to reach these people raw is to use the Facebook
Mm-hmm.
because it's easier to access and in real time we share these things and we share happiness across the world and the
Yeah.
millions and millions of people gonna see it and gonna appreciate the work that you are doing. So it was beautiful. It was really really beautiful to have you, Rob Howze.
Oh man,
And
thanks, brother.
pass my regards to your family. And sometimes I always forget the time zones. I wanted to tell you have a good night, but I remembered it's still morning on your side.
Yeah, it's afternoon now.
It's afternoon.
Yeah.
So I wish you have a great day ahead of you, and as you plan to do things to make everything work out for you. I know you're creating album. Maybe you want to go take some good photos for the album. You want to go buy some milk for Melabel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to enjoy your time.
Yeah, man. Thanks, John. It's a pleasure, brother.
It's my pleasure too, and be blessed, Rob Howze. Until we
All right.
meet next.
Yes, sir.
We've got to do it again, right?
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
why.
Let's do it for sure, man.
Thank you so much, Rob.
All right, brother.
Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for giving us this great show. And God bless you. Bye.